What's going on, guys? Welcome into the Cleveland Browns Report by Chat Sports. Matthew Peterson here with this on tap for everyone today. We're going to start the show off looking at ESPN and Colin Cowherd's top 10 QB list. I thought it'd be a nice kind of break from the usual Deshaun Watson news and rumors dump, which we'll briefly touch on at the end of the show, but a nice change of the palette for everyone. Plus, Nick Chubb, is he a top 5, 3, where does ESPN rank Chubb in their top 10 running back list? And then if you watch yesterday's show, we showed Josina Anderson's tweet that was a little cryptic. Well, we're going to decipher it and break it down later on in the show. But before we really jump into the meat and potatoes of today's menu, who won the final playoff game at Heinz Field? If you know the answer, like the video. If you need a bit of a hint, maybe this picture can serve as a reminder. Now that it's no longer called Heinz Field, who did win the final ever playoff game? That picture of Big Ben and Pouncey crying on the bench, that'll never get old for me. All right, let's get into some QB rankings because that's what Americans and sports fans do in the offseason. We just rank things. And then we get mad at it, and it's fun. And then we get mad at one another. But is Watson a top 10 quarterback in the NFL? Here's ESPN's top 10 QB list. Aaron Rodgers at number 1. All right, two-time defending MVP makes some sense. Mahomes at 2, Allen at 3, Brady comes in at 4. Then you've got Burrow at 5, Stafford ringing in at number 6, Herbert 7, Russ with the Broncos at 8, and now Deshaun Watson gets on screen, coming in at number 9, just ahead of Dak Prescott. My first takeaway from ESPN's top 10 QB list wasn't even so much about Deshaun Watson, but I thought Matthew Stafford was way too high up. I know he just won a Super Bowl, but I think everyone would pick Deshaun Watson over Matthew Stafford, right? If you get the choice, you pick Watson. I also thought Dak Prescott was way too high. I used to be big on Dak. After last season and poor clock management in the 49ers playoff game, I was not a fan of Dak being a top 10. But Deshaun Watson at 9, I can understand why maybe he isn't higher up because he didn't play last season. So there's a little bit of an unknown as how he'll look this year. But there were some notable absentees on the list. You may have noticed no Lamar Jackson, no Kyler Murray. I don't even think Derek Carr should count as a notable absentee, but he was on Colin Cowherd's top 10 list. Here's what the Herd had. Mahomes at 1, so not Rodgers. Josh Allen at 2, Brady at 3. Then you get Aaron Rodgers all the way at number 4 compared to ESPN, who had him at number 1. Cowherd has Russell Wilson at 5, Stafford at 6, Burrow at 7, Herbert at 8, Murray at 9, and yep, you guessed it, Derek Carr at 10. No Deshaun Watson on Colin Cowherd's top 10 QB list. The 2020 NFL passing leader is not a top 10 quarterback, Colin. That's bogus. And you know it too, right? There should not be a debate we have. Deshaun Watson is a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. Of course, everything that's happened over the last 18 plus months has a lot of people with a sour taste in their mouth over Watson, and I understand that, and I don't think that's a grievance I'm going to file against him for. But look what Watson did in 2020. Led the NFL with 4,800 yards, 33 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. His career touchdown to interception ratio is insane. 104 passing TDs compared to just 36 interceptions in 4 seasons so far. Deshaun Watson is absolutely a top 10 quarterback. The fact that we have to have this discussion is frankly absurd. But I'll let you guys be the judge here. Weigh in, because this is the chat in Chat Sports. Give me a Y for yes or N for no, dog pound. Is Deshaun Watson a top 10 QB? Here's my top 10 QB list, and I invite you guys to light up the comment section as well with yours. But I've got Mahomes at number 1, Josh Allen at 2, Rodgers at 3, Brady at 4. I go Russ 5, which might be a bit too high after last year, but it is Russell Wilson. Then I go Deshaun Watson 6 over Burrow. Bias? No, absolutely not. I don't know how there could be any bias in that. I'm not as high on Herbert as other people are, so I have him at 8. Stafford, I bring down to 9. I think he's still a very good quarterback. I always thought he was underrated when he was with Detroit. But I put Kyler Murray at 10. I know that the Cardinals have, again, some Oklahoma Boomer Sooner from producer Sam right now, an OU alum. But I've got Kyler Murray at 10, all right? This is peak off season, right? This is what we do, guys. This is the absolute epitome and the central of what guys and girls in the offseason do that are just waiting for football to come back. We just rank stuff. We rank everything like ESPN did when they did running backs as well, which we'll check out in just a moment. But we are almost at 10,000 subscribers here at the channel. I really want to thank everyone that has joined the channel lately. We've had a huge boom, but we're not stopping. We're not slowing down. Let's get to 10,000 subscribers on this video. We need 79 of you guys watching right now, which I know there are 79 people watching who have not subscribed. Be the guy that gets us over 10,000 subs. Hit that big red button and subscribe. Let's talk about Nick Chubb. Where does Nick Chubb rank in the NFL? ESPN also put out a top 10 RB list, so we're going to see where Nick Chubb stands in terms of if he's a top 3, a top 5. Where is he in the top 10? Because, you better believe it. He is a top 10 running back. But first, I want to tell everyone watching about what's happening over at Rumble. So if you don't know what Rumble is another video platform service very similar to YouTube where we have free Browns news, rumors, very similar content we're putting out here right now. And give us a follow over there at rumble.com/BrownsReport. A really cool feature about Rumble is you can do audio only. So if you want to have the video playing in the background, just audio while you're on Twitter or texting someone, Rumble allows you to do that. So check us out, rumble.com/BrownsReport. Links in the comments and description. Let's check out some running back rankings now from ESPN. Number 1, the king, right? Tractocito, Derrick Henry. No argument for me there. Jonathan Taylor at 2. The reigning NFL rushing leader. Makes sense. Nick Chubb at 3. I like this. I don't think we should inflate ourselves and to say that Nick Chubb is better than Jonathan Taylor or Derrick Henry. But Nick Chubb at 3, it feels right. Dalvin Cook at 4. Kamara at 5. Joe Mixon at 6. Joe Mixon was the epitome of don't know who to draft in the second or third round of your fantasy football draft, but you need a running back, you go Joe Mixon. Christian McCaffrey at 7, he's fallen. If he stays healthy, that's a different conversation. Najee Harris at 8. I know he had 1,200 yards last season in his first year, but at 8 already? That felt a little high, especially over Aaron Jones. Javonte Williams at 10. Not a great crop out there. I would have probably gone Austin Eckler. I guess, over Javonte Williams, just because he's not even a 1,000-yard rusher. But I think he's going to do great things in his career, just haven't seen it yet. But I think Nick Chubb at 3rd, let's get back on track here, is accurate. I don't think he is better than Jonathan Taylor. I'm sorry. I don't think he's better than Derrick Henry. But he is better than the guys they had him there. So I'm happy they did not snub him and have him in the wrong spot or anything like that, because what he's done in his career, I think, is not appreciated well enough across the league in general. The guy has averaged over 5 yards a pop every single season. That is insane. That is ridiculous. If he's healthy the last 2 seasons, he is he's definitely at least closer to becoming the number 1 Browns all-time rushing leader, which I try to crack the numbers. He's 7,500 yards behind the all-time great Jim Brown, who is number 1 at over 12,000. Nick Chubb would have to average about 1,500 yards for the next 5 seasons to become number 1. For any running back to play 9 years in the league, right, this day and age, is impressive. And to do that and average over 1,000 yards, just 1,000 by the way, he would need 1,500, is extremely impressive. So I don't think he's going to finish as the Browns' all-time leading rushing leader, but he'll definitely go down as one of the best Browns running backs of all time. But who's your favorite, all-time favorite Browns running back? Is it Nick Chubb? Or is it someone maybe, this is always a good test to see when people really started becoming a big Browns fan, because you'll get answers for Pruitt or you'll get a Jim Brown. You're like, okay, I wasn't watching Browns football way back when, so I've got some recency bias. But I'm curious who your all-time favorite Browns running back is. All right, last up on the show, we're going to be breaking down some tweets, because on yesterday's episode, we talked about Josina Anderson, and she put this tweet out. Here's what she said, and we talked about this yesterday. As I read over the personal conduct policy, one word continues to stick out while thinking ahead to Sue Robinson's decision during the fact-gathering process, and where along the spectrum she'll post her flagpole. Let me know if you come up with it, and we'll revisit it soon. So Josina Anderson gave us some homework, trying to figure out what this one word is, and I command F a ton of the personal conduct policy, which, by the way, isn't that long, actually. It's like sneaky, only 8 pages, and it's actually pretty user-friendly. But here's what she said today. Presented without prejudice, key excerpts from the NFL's personal conduct policy. Specifically in the opening passage, the word irresponsible is clearly a subjective word that does not depend on direct evidence. In the discipline section, physical force is dependent on evidence. So irresponsible was the word that stuck out to her. Now here's what the NFL personal conduct policy says. Conduct by anyone in the league that is illegal, violent, dangerous, or irresponsible puts innocent victims at risk, damages the reputation of others in the game, and undercuts public respect and support for the NFL. Irresponsible is that key word. I think Josina Anderson raises a great point because Deshaun Watson has not been found guilty of anything, right? No, he was not. The grand jury did not indict him on anything. He has not been charged and found guilty of anything. So it's not illegal. And the NFL, in their own investigation in case 2, Robinson, is not pushing for anything that involves violence or threats. So with the word they're going to be really honing in on is what we just looked at right there. It was, what was the word? Irresponsible. I even forgot it in my own TED Talk for a second. Irresponsible is the word that the NFL will be looking at. Now here's another interesting little part from the NFL personal conduct policy. Ownership and club or league management have traditionally been held to a higher standard and will be subject to more significant discipline when violations of the personal conduct policy occur. Ownership, like Robert Kraft, like Daniel Snyder, like Jerry Jones, all these owners who have gotten away with everything and have never faced any sort of punishment from the league. The rules clearly do not apply to everyone, despite in the NFL personal conduct policy, not only says it includes ownership, but they are held to a higher standard. It is just blasphemy, not to go screaming A on you guys here, but the fact that it says written out, owners should be held to a higher standard, but owners like Robert Kraft, who go to massage parlors in Florida and get some HJs before going to the AFC Championship game, never have any sort of punishment come their way. All I want to know is Judge Sue Robinson, is she going to be settling scores here, or is she going to be starting with a blank slate? Is she going to be looking at this going, sorry, NFLPA, I know that the rules have not been held to the ownership side of things here, even though they should be, but that's not going to be a factor in my decision and go, well, we should call it even after this because you guys didn't really do any sort of repercussions or punishment for owners, so let's call it all even after that. That's what I want to know. Is this going to be something Sue Robinson takes into account when she makes a decision? Or will she go, I'm sorry that before I got here, you did not hold everyone to the same standard, but I'm going to apply the rules how I see fit. That's the end of that TED Talk. I want to wrap up the show with 2 quick things here really quickly. JOK putting this on his Instagram the other day, saying for everyone that wants to know, he'll be wearing number 28 this year, so he's not changing jersey numbers. He's not going to 6. So we were all kind of wondering, could he make the switch and steal Baker's number after just a couple months of him leaving the building? No, he's going to be staying put. But here's what I really want to ask you guys here. So if you've made it this far in the video, shout out to you. Like, you're a real one. You watch all the way through. You don't tap out. So when we reach 10,000 subscribers, I want you guys to be a part of that as much as possible. So I want some ideas of what we should do to celebrate reaching that milestone. Let me know down in the comments what you think we should do here. Just include hashtag Browns, please, 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 in your comment. That way I can just search it, and it'll be a lot easier than combing through hundreds of comments trying to find your best ideas. So let me know what you think we should do down in the comments. Do not say jump in Lake Erie polar plunge. No, that's off the table. All right, that's going to do it for us on today's show. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at Matthew Petey. That way you stay in the know when things like this happen, when Browns news and rumors breaks. I'm tweeting about it, so give me a follow over there.